Hello and welcome to Lisa Horton Crafts. My name's Dawn and today I'm going to show you how I made these two very elegant, beautiful Christmas cards. So before we get started, let's just show you what I've used to make these cards. So the first item that I've used is the Poinsettia 3D Slimline embossing folder. This embossing folder comes with a die, and you can see which flower it cuts out because there's a little yellow line all the way round that flower there, and that's what your die will cut out. Then I'm also using the Festive Banner Sentiments stamp and die set, and this is one large stamp with one die. Stamp your stamp and then place your die over the top, run it through your die cutting machine, and you've got 12 sentiments ready to go. So let's get cracking. First thing we're going to do is run our Poinsettia embossing folder through our machine and emboss my piece of card. So here's my embossed piece of white card. I just have to show you the depth of the embossing on this. If you haven't already got these embossing folders, I really would suggest that they are a fantastic buy. Okay. The embossing detail on them is amazing. Now I'm going to lay this onto a piece of gold mirror card because I think gold on Christmas cards just is such a statement piece. I think it can take a card from being just a nice Christmas card to a really elegant, classy card. Alright. So I'm going to put this down on my base card. My base card is 21 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres. I didn't want to do a slimline card, I wanted to make it slightly bigger, just to show you that just because you're using a slimline folder doesn't mean you can't do a card that's a little bit bigger than slimline card or DL card. I'll just flip it over and just press it down. Okay, so we'll move that out of the way just for a moment. Now the next thing we're going to do is our poinsettias to go on the card. So I'm going to do this bit. Now I've already die cut my poinsettias using my die from the set. Okay, always die cut your shapes first and then emboss, because if you do it the other way around you're going to lose some of that depth on that embossing. You won't lose it all, but it won't look as crisp. Okay, so I'm going to pop these through my embossing folder, and the way you're going to line these up is you're going to take your embossing folder. Now the way I do it I think is probably different to the way others do it. But I always find that if you're going to put down your embossing folder, I put my die cut into the deboss side face down. I just feel that it sits in position better because you've got that little ridge all the way around the embossing. I'm going to look for a piece that I can identify on the folder. That's this little petal here with the hook on. And I'm going to place it down. It's going to be in the right position. And then once you've placed it, it will sort of sit in position and it's not really going to move very much. Okay, so that when you fold that shut, you can see that it's in the right place. Okay, and then you're just going to run that through your die cutting machine with your embossing plates. Okay, so I'm just going to run these three through my embossing machine now. Okay. So here we go. These are the embossed pieces that I've just run through with my folder. Now, I do love this gold. I think the embossing on here looks amazing. Now, obviously, I could use this on here and just do it in gold. I could just put the flower on there, use the gold, and leave it at that. But I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted it to have some depth and some different character. So that's why I've gone with having the red as well. Now what I've done is I've 3D'd these. So I've done a base colour in the gold, and then I've cut out 2 more and embossed them. And then what I'm going to do is cut away little pieces of the main one, and then all I'm going to do is cut out this top piece here, so that I've got 3 different layers. So you can see here I've cut away some of the leaves, and then on the top I've just left the centerpiece. Okay, so that's what I'm going to go and do now. So I've got my gold base, and I've got my 2 pieces that I'm going to layer up. Okay, now before I do that, I just want to do some detailing on the back piece here, on the embossed, whole embossed piece. Now what I want to do is just pick out the stamens on these flowers, and what I'm going to use is some of the antique wax from Stamperia. So all I'm going to do is I'm just using a paper stump, and I'm just lifting off some of that wax and just dabbing it onto those stamens. And the reason I thought of using the paper stump was because it is quite directional, if you like. I can actually just do the stamens without going anywhere else. So I'm not going to get anything on my card where I don't want it. So I'm going to do exactly the same. We lift the wax with my paper stump and just do the stamens on the red piece here. And again, you can see that I'm actually literally just covering the stamens. I'm not going onto the card. I'm not going anywhere where I don't want to go. I just think it just gives it a little bit of a lift and just highlights some of the stamens on the main card. Okay, so let's add our flower to our card. Now all I'm going to do is just lightly bend these leaves over so that it's just got a little bit of depth of its own before I add my 3D glue. I'm going to do that on all the pieces so that I don't have to do it individually each time. Just do that with that one, and then just ever so slightly with the 3 little, the little leaf out of the middle. So those little petals, just give them a little bit of movement of their own. Now, to place my flower, again, I'm going to be looking for a piece that I can identify. Now, what I've done with this is I'm looking at this middle leaf here, because it's got a fold in it and it looks slightly different to all the others. And I've picked it out on the base flower here on the embossing. So I know that if I line those up, my flower is going to sit exactly in the right place. Okay, so just look for something that you can identify to place your flower easily, and then you're not messing around trying to turn it round all the time. Right. Okay, so that's my 3D bit done. Now then, I'm going to put my sentiment on, and my sentiment, as I said, is from the Festive banner sentiments. Now you can see on the 2 that I've already done, I've used different sentiments each time. So I've used Festive Hugs, I've used Merry and Bright, and on today's card I'm going to be using Happy Christmas. Now I've used 3D pads on here, and I've used 2 different depths of pad. Because this is an embossed folder, so it's already quite raised, I want it to be level. So I want the pads that are on this side to be slightly thicker than the pads that are going onto this already raised embossed folder. And just place the sentiment at the bottom of the card. like so. Okay, so it's raised all the way along, slightly higher this side, but then the fact that this is already embossed gives it a little bit of height already anyway. Now just to finish off, I'm going to be adding some of Lisa's AB pearls. These are from the gold and silver set that she bought out recently, and there are 3 other different colours as well. Beautiful set of gems to have, that just, to me, just finish off a card perfectly. So I'm just going to place them down first so that I know I've got them in the right place. And I'm always using an odd number because I've always been told that if you use an odd number of flowers or pearls or embellishments, it balances your card better. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll just add a little bit of glue. I'm using my Lisa Horton Crafts pickup tool, which is perfect for this sort of thing. And there you go. There's my pearls, my gems added, just to give that white section of the card a little bit of a lift. Okay, just so that it's not as flat as just plain white card. So there you go, there's my card for today, and there are the other 2 that I made previously. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me today. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future content that we might add to the channel. And believe me, there is a lot of content coming up that you're not going to want to miss. So thanks for joining me, take care, and I'll see you again very soon.